Nowadays, everybody wants to play overseas.
Once you're global, that's a different type of income that you could get, a different type of fan base that you could get.
It's a grind.
You know, this is a different grind. I'm just going to say it like this. You have to pretty much try to figure out how to stay sane.
I'm not content, and I'll never be content.
You're away from your family. You don't know the language.
And the biggest thing I think is just like that loneliness, man. Like
basketball, the only thing you got.
You don't ever see what happens behind the scenes with certain people. You know,
Make the most of your situation.
It's just about opportunity for me. So I'm getting it now. I'm showing all the DMs and all the teams that I'm pretty legit.
Sometimes you don't even get paid.
What are you gonna do about it?
in reality, like it is a business. So these teams are going to do what is best for them.
You got to live and breathe basketball.
I quickly noticed that dudes were dropping like flies.
If you don't do your job, you're getting sent home.
It's a long flight for most of these guys.
They're not afraid to cut you. And that's just where you kind of got to realize as a player, if you're not working, if you're not doing what you know how to do and just taking it day by day, then like you're going to get sent home.
Everybody's journey is different.
That's what the JBA was about. It was about you taking advantage of every opportunity you could, and they're going to give the platform to us. And if you do what you do, then you can make the best out of it.
Got one over there.
You might be in negative 10-degree weather, but you still got to show up every day and hoop.
I feel like it's been romanticized playing overseas. Like this thing is like they're gonna just be at your beckoning call, foot in hand.
I plan to do really well, which will happen for me just because of my mentality. And the only way I know.
Hidden gems.
Hidden gems.
Hidden gems.
Hidden gems.
Hidden gems. Well, bless your ears, baby.
I listen to Hidden Gems every night before I go to bed.
I listen to Hidden Gems in the kitchen.
Hidden gems.
What's up? Today we're here with Robb Morris and Curtis Hollis. Kurt's currently in Germany, and Robb is out in California and Los Angeles here today. What's up, fellas?
What's up, guys? What's going on, y'all?
Now, Kurt, why don't you tell us where you are exactly?
I'm in Bad Onuf, Germany. It's right next to Bonn, Germany, and Cologne. Cologne's one of the bigger cities out here in Germany. So I'm about like a 30-minute drive from Cologne and like about 15 minutes from Bonn. I'm out here playing with basically like the G League team of the Telekom Basketball Bonn, and they're in the BBL, the top German league, and then they're also in the Basketball Champions League, so that's one of the top leagues in Europe. So I'm out here playing with the G League team basically right now with the chance of getting called up. Just out here just doing my thing, trying to before I come back into the draft next year.
That's dope. What about you, Robb?
I'm out here in LA, doing some couple productions and just trying to build the brand. Recently just picked up a lead role in this pilot I'm doing out here in LA. So I've been working on that, building 5X ENT with athletes and just a lot of other film productions like that. So, just trying to get the brand started up and just keep everything moving forward.
That's awesome. And with 5XENT, it's kind of an all-encompassing brand, but you also have some basketball stuff going on in there as well.
Yeah, of course. It's an all-encompassing brand. I'm recently just made it into like a free agency so I can represent athletes as well. Because with just not 5XENT, it's just, I wanted to be kind of like all well-rounded from film and to music and just kind of not be biased just to one thing. So with the basketball, I try to do it with Kurt. He's kind of like my experiment, my guinea pig in the project because, me and him have been cool for a long time. And so to see him be where he's at is really good and bring other different athletes from football and it's going pretty good right now.
And you and Kurt have been friends for a while now, dating back to high school and even before that and stuff. We'll get into that connection and then what Kurt's doing overseas, and we'll talk to some other guys about their playing career and experience overseas, getting into that just like Kurt. But before we get into that, let's talk about your basketball experience out in Cali and how you've been hooping out there a little bit.
Yeah, man, I do a lot from multimedia with film and everything like that, but also I always play basketball because you never know. Especially I hear so much opportunity, you got to stay ready. So I always hoop in these leagues, out here in Southern California, whether it be, Drew League or some of these rec leagues, these popular JBL leagues or anything like that, just staying connected because you never know when it's going to be your time. But even so, for the role that I have right now in one of these movies for a basketball player, and so I'm required to do some athletic abilities and just other things and such like that. So staying ready.
And you've been hooping with B-Dot, right?
Yeah. B-Dot's actually one of my good bros. I actually met him when I when I first came to LA, and ever since I met him, he's showed nothing but love. You know, we've made a couple videos together, hooped together, you know, stuff like that, a couple highlight tapes together. So he's a real cool dude.
That's dope. And with this Drew League stuff, you know, Kurt played in the Drew League as well, and we had Austin Mills on before. He played for Baxter's Legacy, and I think Kurt, you did too, right?
Yeah. I played with Baxter's for most of the Drew League season and most of the summer. It was a pretty dope experience for me because it's always been a dream of mine to play in the Drew League. I've always seen how big it was. I didn't really get the chance to last year, and I really wanted to. So this year, after playing really good in the JBA and stuff, you know, I had more of an opportunity and more of a bigger role to play in the Drew. So, I played with Austin. He came on a little bit late, played really good. We played on really good together. He can really shoot it, you know, facilitate, get guys involved. And he's a dope person, too. So it was real cool, and it was a great experience for me. Like, I went off pretty good in the Drew League every game, so I got the best out of it.
That's awesome. So from here on out, we're going to kind of dive into your experience and, you know, from high school, North Texas, JBA, now you're in Germany, and now you're trying to get to that pre-draft, and Robb's kind of been there along the way. Why don't you take us through your journey, kind of starting from DTX?
My journey's kind of wild. I went to Mansfield Summit, Texas, so I played freshman. I was pretty good. Then I transferred because when I was a sophomore is when Prime Prep open with Emmanuel Moutier and, you know, all those guys. So I transferred over there and got to go through the experience with them like real young, you know. So I kind of got through into the fire like real young. There was Emmanuel Moutier, Kavar Shepard, Terrence Ferguson, you know, all these really high talented players. And I was just such a young kid. So I got to experience that. And I think that was really good for my development. Then I transferred back to Summit, finished my sophomore year. I played with varsity. And then my junior year is when I kind of like picked up for me. I started on varsity my junior year at Summit. And then that summer I transitioned and played in the Nike UIBL. The year before I played in UIBL too. That was when I played with Trey Young. Next year I played with like Marquise Bolden. He went to Duke. Jalen Terry, he won high major. Andrew Jones, he's at the University of Texas. So I played with a bunch of high major guys that year. I went to a bunch of like big time camps like Pango's All-American, NBA Top 100, all the big names, De'Aaron Foxes of the world, you know, all the top players. So that was really good. That was really good for my development as well because I just got to, you know, have that experience playing against the best. Then my senior year, I started at Summit and then I transferred to API. So API is basically Prime Prep after Prime Prep because Prime Prep got shut down, so they turned it into API.
Right.
So I was there with some more studied guys like Trayvon Duval, Billy Preston, Terrence Ferguson again, Mark Vital.
It's a good squad.
You know, yeah. We were squadded. We won a state championship that year. And then go junior college. So I went to Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. Yeah, one of the top JUCOs in the country. They had just won a national championship the year before I got there. After that, it didn't go how I planned it because they kind of just threw me to the back because I was a freshman. And, you know, junior college, you got to go 2 years. They kind of just told me, you know, just play your role, you know, wait till the next year.
Right.
And that's not what they recruited. That's not what they recruited me for. And they didn't tell me that, you know, I could have went to any junior college in the country. Yeah, so that kind of, you know, threw me off gear. And I had the opportunity to play in the JBA. I talked to LeVar and Allen and all those guys, and they really, really wanted me and really provided me with the platform. I saw the opportunity. So I took that. I did really good in the season, obviously. And then we went to Europe. We went to about 25 different countries. So that was a really dope experience for me. I got the platform of playing against in front of a lot of GMs. And I got picked up by a team, B. Rose Bamberg. We played their second team. So B. Rose Bamberg is probably one of the top 3 teams in Germany, period. And I got picked up by the GM that was there. Now I'm here in Germany. And the GM's really high level. We played all through the Euro League, German national team. He has a guy on a two-way contract right now with the Houston Rockets. Yeah, that was with B. Rose Bamberg last year. So, you know, he just gave me the opportunity to come in and, you know, play my game and just show all the scouts what I could do. And it's been going good so far. I've been putting up pretty good numbers, really big numbers. So the season starts on Saturday.
That's exciting.
So I just plan on having a really big season and then just coming back and getting ready for the draft.
Yeah, so
going from there.
So one of the things that our goal of this podcast with overseas guys and what y'all are going through is to kind of unmask, show people the reality of the situation, and we're going to dive into a day in the life of you right now overseas. But first, let's take it back a little bit and unmask kind of the JBA thing because people have like a certain attitude and mindset towards the JBA, LeVar, LaMelo, all of this that's going on. Why don't you kind of walk us through what that dynamic was like and the special experience that it was and how helpful it was for you.
For sure. Yeah, like you said, a lot of people kind of hated on the JBA and what it was about and all that because they don't really know. But it was actually a really great experience for me. LeVar is really hands-on for me. He knows his basketball. He knows what's right and what's wrong. Obviously, he's about to have two sons, top 10 picks. So obviously, you know what he's doing. You know, he kind of just broke it down to me and put it into perspective and kind of was just like, you know, had the opportunity. It was dope. We went through 25 different countries. You know, I got paid every check, every salary.
Right. It was legit.
You know, it was 100% legit. I got a bunch of gear from the Big Baller brand. I got to represent. I got to make a name for myself. I got a fan base in Europe. I got a fan base in the States, all because of what I did. So basically, it was just a huge platform for me, and that's what the JBA was about. It was about you taking advantage of every opportunity you could. And they're gonna give the platform to us, and if you do what you do, then you can make the best out of it.
Right.
So it was fantastic for me. I have no complaints about it.
You definitely took advantage of the opportunity that you were given. And there's some guys that goes to the JBA and they're like, "This is stupid. It didn't work out for me." Well, that's on you because clearly it can work for some guys. And Robb was there the whole time, you know, doing some media stuff. Robb, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was crazy because you know, obviously I wouldn't have got the opportunity without Kurt. So, you know, just by having him, you know, kind of like plug me and just like give me the experience to even do that was pretty dope. You know, from the time I was there, I met some good friends through Kurt, you know, through the whole JBA that I'm real cool with now, through the whole JBA. And that's what it's all about, really, you know what I'm saying, networking and just, you know, meeting different folk, especially from all around the country and in that case, all around the world. So, you know, to follow Kurt is because, you know, everybody was following Melo and, you know, Jello, which is cool, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, they were the face of the really great people. But, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like one of those things where we always wanted to kind of like give like another outlook from, you know, outside the Big Baller brand. So it's like it's always other players that was in that league that were really, really good that deserve recognition.
Right.
So Hoop Global was one of those outlooks to where, you know, we could actually focus on someone else other than the Ball Bros because we already know that they're really, really great. And
right.
So we kind of wanted to show that, hey, there's other players that
another
are, you know,
avenue.
good too.
Yeah,
exactly. So, and with Curtis, you know, started really taking off once he went overseas, and then, you know, he started really, really, you know, getting a name for himself over there. So it was really, really good on that. So he was able to branch off and, you know, create his own, you know, and do his thing from there.
I think another thing is like it's super dope that I got a global fan base, and I don't think I realize it still to this day because having a global fan base is like kind of on a completely different level than most players because once you're global, that's a different type of income that you could get, a different type of fan base that you could get than just being in the States. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that's super dope to me as of now, and it's still building every day because obviously I'm still over here in Germany.
Right.
It's been good. I get a bunch of messages from people all over the country, like all types of different places. So I'm just trying to keep going and just keep building it up.
That's dope. Yeah, you gotta keep pushing.
What's a day like, Kurt, over there in Germany? Take us through what would be your daily routine.
Okay, so my daily routine is it switches up sometimes, but it's pretty normal. I got my own personal athletic trainer. You know, they're trying to build up some weight and some other little things for me. So what I do is I wake up in the morning. We either got weights or athletics at 11 or 10 in the morning for about an hour and a half. Then after that, I go eat at the lunch. So there's a school out here where they develop young guys and do it like that. So they give us free meals. So I go eat after that. So that's about 12:30 to 1. Then we either practice at like 4 or we practice later in the night. So I just chill for a little bit and then I go practice.
Right. You just got out of practice before we started this podcast, right?
Yeah. I just got out of practice, bro. So, you know, I shoot after practice. I go before practice because one of our coaches is one of our personal trainers that does a lot of one-on-one stuff with me. So I go early and I end late. And then that's basically the day, honestly. By the time I'm done with practice, it's about 10, 11 o'clock at night. So it goes by pretty fast out here. So it just repeats.
People like see the end product. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot on Hidden Gems is people see the end product, but they don't see the journey. They don't see the hard parts. And I know people think, oh, I want to go overseas. Like maybe I won't make it to the NBA, but overseas is what I want to do. Like it's overseas or bust. But when they get there, like it's a struggle. Like people don't realize there's a language barrier, the food's weird, the weather sucks. Like you're going through a lot and you're not with the people that you are usually with and have that backbone around you. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about the struggles of overseas life?
Like I said, I was with the JBS, so I got a little bit ahead of most players because I got to experience it and understand it a little bit before I came out here for a full season. But it's definitely a change, you know what I'm saying? The food, like you said, is completely different. You know, they don't have ranch. Like, I like ranch. I love ranch. They don't got ranch, you know what I'm saying? They don't got the normal pickles, you know what I'm saying? They don't got hot sauce. A lot of stuff they don't have. Yeah, you need that ranch, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be open to a lot of new things, you know what I'm saying? You got to try things. And luckily for me, I got teammates that helped me out a lot, but I'm out here by myself.
Are there no more Americans out there with you?
Nah, I'm the only American with my team. Everybody else is German, so
do they speak English
German,
or just German?
See, the good thing about Germany is that they actually speak pretty good English because they get it. They were taught it at a young age, so most people out here speak pretty good English, but you know, they're 100% German fluent. I'm actually in a German class. I go to German class once a week, so I'm trying to learn German.
Yeah, that's always really helpful. I've heard, like, if you can, even in China with these big guys, if they can learn Chinese or something, it doubles, like, their fame. Like, they're able to communicate with the media and everything. And I know, like, some of these new guys that have to start out in, like, Czechoslovakia, and stuff, and they don't know anybody or anything and can't talk to anybody. Like, it just ruins it for them. So I'm sure being able to speak to people helps you.
For sure, bro. It definitely helps me a lot, bro, because if I couldn't speak, bro, it'd be really tough. Like, the roads are really different out here. So they gave me a car, but it's smaller. Certain speed limits you can't go, certain lanes you can't be in. That's pretty tough.
Has it been challenging on the court for you to communicate or, like, just to pick up? I know there's a learning curve getting to a pro level anyway, but
yeah, for sure, bro. On the court, you know, it's a lot of different stuff because, you know, we're playing FIBA rules, so it's a lot of different adjusting I got to do. Like, I'm getting used to the rules. Like, you can't call timeouts in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, you know, the goaltending rule, you can hit it off the backboard certain situations. So it's definitely been a little bit of a struggle, but luckily for me, I pick up on stuff pretty easy, and you know the coaches have been pretty hands-on with me and helping me out with that. So I haven't struggled too much. I've been doing pretty well.
What's one thing you would say being over there that you're like, man, it sucks? Like,
honestly, I'd probably say just being by myself. Like,
yeah,
right.
Honestly, like, you know, I get to kick on my teammates sometimes. But yeah, like, I've been here about 2 months, but it really hasn't hit me fully. But honestly, obviously, I miss my parents. Obviously, I miss just the American style, you know, just being around my people. Obviously, the females, you know what I'm saying? I'm a female guy. You know, the ladies love me, so you know, I can't chop it up with my peoples.
There's no German females out there?
I mean, yeah, they love.
You don't have game in Germany?
Here, but, you know, I be trying to stay out the way. You feel me? I'm trying to stay out the way. Just be trying to chill so it can go by as fast as possible. But
right, just immersing yourself in basketball. A lot of guys go over and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go, you know, see the world." Like, you're playing basketball. Like,
we ain't got time for females, bro. We out here taking care of business, dog. If the females gonna come.
Let's talk about future plans and where both of y'all want to go. You both have separate avenues that you're chasing, but, I mean, they're interconnected in different ways. So, Rob, why don't you start off and just tell us, like, where your future's headed?
Well, man, I have a lot, but I guess it would be my main goal, just, you know, is to have a multi-million-dollar production company so where I can just be able to shoot movies and, you know, just do different stuff from documentaries, you know, day in the life. I kind of want to be able to, like, just be able to follow different type of high-profile people in their element. Whether, like I said, that be music, whether that be, you know, an actor or be an athlete.
Pre-draft,
you know, the whole 5X
Kurt Hollis.
Entertainment. Yeah. It's kind of like everything that's included within like film, bro, like anything, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of like that day in the life, raw footage, just how everyday life is supposed to go. You know, everything happens. You don't ever see what happens behind the scenes with certain people, you know, and I just want to kind of be like, you know, I want to be able to show and display that we're real people, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how high we get or how low we, yeah, for sure. You know, even by rocking with Kurt, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get around big time people, you got to carry yourself a certain way. Just being able just to, you know, be humble in what you do and just be able to work, you know, everything's going to come and connect itself.
That's facts. When you surround yourself with success, not only does it just naturally happen, but you see the work ethic and what it takes to get there.
Success breeds success.
Definitely.
Nugget of wisdom from Keenan.
Success breeds success.
Kurt, why don't you tell us a little bit about your plans?
Yeah, my future aspirations are pretty clear to most people that know me. I'm trying to obviously play in the NBA, play at the highest level possible. Obviously, since I'm in Europe right now, and I've been doing actually really well, and I plan to do really well, which will happen for me just because of my mentality and because that's the only way I know I'll be able to play at the highest level in Europe next year, whether it's the Euro League or the BBL or Italy or wherever I want to really play at the highest level. But my biggest dream is, and my biggest thing is to play in the NBA and play for a winning team and, try to come in and win. And I'm a young guy, turned 21 in April. It's just about opportunity for me. And I feel like since I'm getting it now, I'm showing all the GMs and all the teams that I'm pretty legit. So it's just, I'm not really a guy that really, yeah. I don't really care about all the money and all that stuff. I know it's pretty crazy nowadays in the NBA, but I'm a guy that loves the game and loves to play and loves to get better. So my biggest thing is I just want to be the best me I can be and be the best I can get and playing at the NBA level and playing at that level against the best players. Obviously I can continue to get better as I continue to get older and learn more, but so yeah, I definitely have developed a lot. For most people that know me and know where I started, where I'm at right now is pretty impressive for a lot of people, and I get a lot of love from it. But I'm not content, and I'll never be content. And I still feel like I can get way better, and I haven't reached my full potential. So I'm just gonna continue to get better and continue to work.
For sure. What's one thing that you really want to work on for your game that I wanna be sharp?
I think I want to build like my jumper, be a little bit more consistent. Obviously I can knock it down at a pretty nice rate, but I want to be able to consistently shoot it at a high level. And at a high level like that, if you can't defend and keep your guy in front of you, you don't play. So that's another really big thing. Just continue to be solid on defense.
Nice. All right. Well, we're gonna take you guys through a speed round. These are fast responses. Off the top of the dome, right away. Y'all ready?
All right, yeah. We're ready.
Favorite player in the league?
Mine's Kawhi Leonard. Russell Westbrook.
Solid.
Who would you say you model your game after?
Oh, I got to go with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum.
When I'm at the park, Dwayne Wade.
Favorite food?
Chicken tender.
Yeah, I got to go with chicken too.
Do you have
ranch is OD.
Facts, you got to have a ranch.
Big ranch guy.
Celebrity crush?
Zendaya. Woo!
Mine got to be. I got a couple, bro. I got to go with Kelsey Plum. Kaylani's been one of my tops right now, and my last one got to go with Kendall Jenner, bro.
Man, you love Kendall Jenner. That's crazy.
No German crushes?
Nah, bro. Nah,
we don't do German girls no more. We don't do that. We don't do German girls, bro. It's quiet.
Favorite city?
I got to go L.A.
L.A. for sure.
Like L.A.
I'm the face of the West Coast.
Last but not least, what's the best podcast on the planet?
Hidden Gems.
Hidden Gems, baby.
Hidden Gems. Yes, sir.
Hidden Gems, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate y'all. Robb Morris, Kurt Hollis. Looking forward to talking to y'all soon. We'll keep y'all updated on Kurt's journey to the league and Robb's journey to the top of production and film. Also joining the Hidden Gems podcast this episode is Trey Moses, who is currently playing overseas in Bulgaria. Trey was an all-conference player at Ball State. Trey, why don't you give us a little background about how you ended up in Bulgaria and kind of a brief background about your playing career and your life leading into your overseas career?
Yeah, so I grew up playing football, basketball. Going into high school, I kind of was like, I don't really want to play football anymore. I would say like football is probably like my favorite sport. Like I love to watch football, love to play football, but
right.
I just hate, the different temperatures. Like it's either extremely hot or extremely cold sometimes, and that's not something I wanted to deal with.
Right.
So going into high school, I told my dad that, I just want to focus on basketball.
Right, and you're a big guy. What are you, 6?
Yeah, 6'9", 6'10", like 240, 250. But yeah, so he was just like, if that's what you want to do, we're going to put our all into it. We're not going to just sit back and, waste time. And so it's kind of wild because my freshman year, I actually broke my leg. So I fractured my femur along my growth plate, and I was 6'3" at the time. The doctors were like, you're probably not going to grow anymore. So, I was devastated and, grew 6 inches from then until my, freshman year of college. Obviously, I went to Ball State. I had 11 other offers. You know, I had a couple other schools I was really interested in, but I wanted to get into special education. And so that's what, you know, Ball State has a great education program, but I ended up switching majors along the way after my freshman year to child development. You know, I still love it, what I'm going to do after basketball.
Right.
You know, this was a summer that was just super anxious. I finished my senior year, and I didn't know what to expect as far as, you know, offers and whatnot, how that will go. And, you know, I signed an agent, you know, a couple weeks after. He's like family to me. And it was one of those things that, you know, I had to like put trust into somebody that, you know, I'd never really met before.
Right. You weren't even comfortable with at the time.
Yeah. You know, I signed with them, and he just, you know, he kept telling me, man, like just mid-July, like we're going to have something. Like that's when guys typically sign. And I just remember I was driving home and in the car, he calls me, and he's on the phone with my mom and dad too. And he was like, we got offered a 2-year deal in Bulgaria, and my mouth just dropped because I know a lot of guys as rookies don't get 2-year deals.
Right.
And so I'm super blessed for that. And then, you know, it's been tough so far. You know, there's a lot of different things that go into it, but it's one of those things that if I'm able to stick with this throughout this whole year and, you know, and make it through, then, you know, I should be able to get somewhere where like I truly want to be. And, you know, that's making, you know, more money in a great country. Not that Bulgaria is not a great country, but
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
A higher level.
It's to just get higher and higher each year and just play until I can't play anymore.
Right. Now, what were your goals kind of going into Ball State, and as you progress through your year, seeing like, hey, I can do this, I can go overseas and make good money?
Man, it was crazy because going into the freshman year, I was 266 pounds and 25% body fat.
Big fella.
Yeah, big fella. You know, I was pretty much expected to redshirt. Like in my head, I'm like, I don't want to be in school for 5 years. You know, I don't want to do that. You know, I worked my ass off and started my first 2 games as a freshman, like our first 2 games of the season. I started 9 games as a freshman, averaged 20 minutes a game. So I wouldn't say I necessarily really had goals going into my freshman year.
Right.
Because I didn't really truly know what to expect.
How challenging was it just to like keep your head down and keep grinding? I mean, through college and even this summer, not having any idea what's ahead.
Man, it's tough. You know, overseas is a lot tougher. It's, you know, I've been talking to a lot of my teammates who play at Ball State still, and I tell them all the time, like, you know, this is a different grind, and it's not, you know, it was tough, like conditioning, you know, conditioning's always going to be hard. You know, we ran on the track, and that's not something we really did at Ball State, you know, so that's always going to be, you know, different. But
right.
The real grind is just like the mental aspect. Like, I'm going 2-a-days, all basketball. Like you have to try to figure out how to, I'm just going to say it like this, you have to pretty much try to figure out how to stay sane.
Right. I mean, you're away from family, you're away from friends, everything that's familiar to you is stripped away, and you got to figure out how to deal with it. And I mean, most of these people even are still doing this as young men, young adults, even kids.
Yeah, and I mean, you know my struggles as far as, you know, mental health and whatnot, but
right.
It's one of those things it's like I'm 7 hours ahead of, you know, all my friends and family.
Right.
So just trying to figure out, like, I mean, I've gotten it for the most part, but just figuring out different times to truly talk to people, and whether it's me staying up later to talk to friends or them, you know, waking up earlier, because like we practice at pretty much anywhere between 9 to 12. And then, you know, we'll get out a couple hours off, and then again at 5:30.
That's a serious schedule.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's pretty much every day. But, you know, it's getting easier and easier, man. Like when I first got here, you know, I was terrified of the track. Like I did not want to. I was hoping, like in my head, I'm like, I hope we don't run on the track, because like I do not know how it's going to go. You know, we ran a mile and a half 2-3 days after I got here. And I was like, bro, I haven't ran a mile since like my sophomore year in college. And I got an under 6-minute mile then, but I feel like I'm my body's older than I actually am.
Right.
Like it's crazy how like old I truly feel sometimes. But so, you know, I do the mile and a half. I struggled with a mile and a half. Like I struggled with it. And, they weren't happy with me. We had some other aspects going into it too with, my knee and stuff. And it was tough. And, I've already overcome it. We then have, 4 more conditioning days on the track, 4 or 5 more.
Man.
And I just killed them. I felt so relieved after our last one, because I was like, you know what? I did something I thought I couldn't do. I thought after the first time I was really just going to fold. I just didn't know that I could, actually do it.
Talking about your knees, like that's got to be very important over there to find a team that kind of cares for you and your physical health, because some of these people just treat you as like an asset and just like work. How has that been for you from a perspective of them taking care of you?
Man, it was tough because, I had gotten a cortisone shot right before I came. Not right before, but like 2-ish weeks before I came.
Still soon,
and
yeah.
I was like, I'm feeling great. Like I feel amazing. Like there's nothing wrong. I'm going through workouts. This is something that like not a lot of people know, but for like 2 to 3 months after the year, like I couldn't dunk. Like I was struggling to like with explosion. I was struggling to like truly do much of anything.
Right.
So I was in, like rehab or like physical therapy all summer. And so like after I got that shot, I was like, you know what, like I feel so good. And then I get there and, they do all these tests and, they're trying to, figure out whether, you're truly good or not. They weren't really happy they didn't know I had knee surgery before.
Right.
My senior year. So they weren't happy with that. And, there were some things that had happened after that because, they just simply didn't know. And, it's them taking a chance, and it's a business too.
Yeah, it's all a business.
And that's the thing about it is just for me realizing it's a business, but also like trying to do what's best for me too.
Right.
There was moments, within the last 2 weeks where I've been like, I don't know that I want this, man. Like so tough, and I have a great agent who supports me more than just basketball. And,
right, that's really important.
He's talking to me like, if you're not happy, let's just come home. Like we can find you another job, or you can, go do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like I don't want to give up because like that's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
But so I'm just trying to stick with it the best way I know how. As far as like health goes, I get treatment from like the team doctor, but it's just so crazy because at Ball State, like I had everything. Like,
exactly. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like they want to jump overseas, like that's their main goal. But the colleges that most guys are at are a much better situation than they'll find overseas unless you're making it to the top, and that's a very slim percentage.
Yeah, like I was in the training room every day, not because I was hurt, but because I was just like I'm a pro act. I know, what my body needs. I know how to recover after games. I know what to do and what it takes for me to be at my best. We're struggling to get ice here. Like there was a practice where like everyone else got ice and like I didn't get any ice.
That's got to be tough.
That's the struggle.
Yeah, it is, man. And so, whether it's staying on top of meds and making sure like I'm taking meds at the appropriate times and just doing whatever it takes, like the other day we had an off day and, I literally just stayed in my like apartment.
Right. It seems like with everything, like you are your accountability, because when you're at Ball State and when everybody's at their college programs, they have people staying on top of them academically, in the training room, on the court, but then you get over there like you're a grown man and they expect you to take care of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing that my mental health story, but like I got back on my meds this summer and I gained weight, and I get here and they're not happy with that. They're not happy with my weight gain. They're not happy with the fact, this is like a tough country. Like, not that mental health is weak in my opinion, but this is just a tough country. Right. And, they're not happy with, me being on, depression meds. And so like it's been, it's been a struggle for me. But,
I was going to ask, can you dive a little deeper into mental health as, an overseas basketball player?
Man, it's been a battle for sure.
A lot of people don't realize before they get over here.
Yeah. So I had the luxury of like, after my teammate had committed suicide in college, was with a counselor for literally a week after that, all the way until July of this past summer. So that's, almost 2 years. And it was one of those things where like, when I said my final goodbye to her, she was like, you're one of my favorite clients I've ever had. And I've never said that before. Mm-hmm. And so like, we got so close in those 2 years. And so for me going to counseling once a week to now me being here and not having that, it's been a struggle. So really, it's just like, not that like people, shouldn't lean on themselves, but I've really like leaned on myself more now, more than ever.
You have to.
And so it's just me trusting myself and figuring out different ways to cope in healthy ways. And whether it's, calling my friends or, doing whatever, just making sure like I don't let myself, get to that point. And if I do, then I need to like truly communicate. Because there was a time where like I was up like late 4 a.m. or something like that my time, and I had like a really bad anxiety attack, and I was just like struggling.
And do you stay with other Americans, or you're?
Yeah, so we're like all on the same floor. Like we share kitchen area, and then we share a washer, but we all have like our own like for me, like it's kind of hard to explain, but I have like a bed, and then like 8 feet away I have like my living room area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's decent. It's not bad, but like there's 5 of us. So, it's tough, 5 grown men sharing one washer. Right. And we don't have a dryer because they all believe in like drying racks.
And that's another instance, just a little thing that people don't realize before they get somewhere with the culture. It's just different and you're not ready for it, but then you got to adjust.
Yeah, it's it was definitely an adjustment. I'm starting to like it more and more each day, and just taking it day by day and just trusting in God's plan, because that's been, another thing is just really turning to God for everything.
Right, and you can use the overseas opportunity as a platform too, so I'm sure that's really important to you.
Yeah, for sure.
So take us through the real authentic struggle of being an overseas basketball player, because a lot of people in the States that has aspirations to want to go pro, to want to go overseas because they're not NBA ready or whatever the case may be, believe that, yeah, if this doesn't work out, then I'm just going to go overseas. Well, if I don't make it to the league, well, I'll just go overseas. Well, when I get done playing, I just go overseas, as if it's a given, and people that don't make it to the league is just an automatic overseas bid type of thing. Tell us what the real struggle, the real grind and the process of being an overseas basketball player and being effective.
So I would say, like, I'm telling you, as soon as we got here, 3 of us that got here at the same time.
Okay.
We get here super late, go to dinner, wake up the next morning. They're having you on the treadmill running to check your heart, check everything. They're letting you know early, like they're checking body fat, they're checking weight. The next day we're drug tested. Like, it is a serious business, first of all. And a lot of people have this mindset that, like, obviously they
live the life, yeah.
Yeah, that they're going to live a life, but in reality, like, it is a business. So these teams are going to do what is best for them, whether you're the best player or not. Like, I've seen dudes who are, great. Like, there's dudes that I know that are great players that still aren't signed. And it's just like, because these coaches go ask, like, what type of dude you are off the court, what type of player you are, what type of teammate. Like, these coaches care about that. And so it started early. And then, like I said, like day 3, we're running 1.5 miles. Yeah, day 4, we started practice. It's a business, but at the same time, like, like if you're not going to an organization that's like reliable, that that you've heard about, some of these teams can really screw you over.
Yeah,
and it's and the biggest thing I think is just like that loneliness, man. Like, I'm waking up at 10 a.m. or whatever time I'm waking up, and
nobody's awake. Yeah,
nobody's awake but my teammates. And that's not a bad thing, but it's like sometimes, like, I want to talk to other people. Right. But like, then when I'm going to 5 o'clock practice and it's 10 o'clock back home, and so like even then, like, some people still aren't awake. Like, if my girl, she doesn't have class till 2, like, she's not going to wake up at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Again, the little things people don't think about, that just, it's a mental grind as much as it is physical.
I would really say, like, what they say, like 90% mental, 10% physical. Like, you're able to get through, especially if you come in, like, I was told to come in decent shape, and I thought it was, apparently it wasn't, but if you come in better shape than I did, like, you're going to be better off. But I'm thankful we don't have to get up hella early. Like, the earliest I think we've had anything is 9:15 or something. But
right, and every organization's different.
Yeah, it's just that, like, mental, that loneliness factor. Like, I haven't played well. We've played 5 friendly games, and I would say, like, I've had one good, decent game. And, you know, that factors into it because you're like, these teams can send you home at any point. Like, they can cut you. Yeah, these teams are trying to, you know, make it to the top two. Like, they're trying to be the best teams. And so they're not afraid to cut you. And that's just where you kind of got to realize as a player. And you don't want to think about it because, like, that was my issue. Is just like, damn, like, what if they send me home? Like, I think they're going to send me home, or I'm not playing well. You got to, like, not think about that. But at the same time, it's just like you have to realize if you're not working, if you're not, you know, doing what you know how to do and just taking it day by day, then, like, you're going to get sent home.
As a pro,
like,
yeah.
It's going to suck when you do. But at the same time, you don't want to look at it as, like, failure. You know, early on, my GM was wanting to send me home because of, you know, weight in my knee, and my coach was just like, no, like, I want to keep him.
Right.
And you look at me now, and I'm like, you know, a guy that has, not that I've produced great in games, but I've produced in practice. And I'm, you know, getting better every day. I'm hoping, you know, I'll have my breakthrough moment. And if I don't, like, it happens. A lot of rookies struggle.
Right.
And it's one of those things where you have to just take it with a grain of salt and come back ready for year two.
Absolutely. Before we get you out of here, we're just going to go through a quick speed round so we can get to know you better. So I'll start it off. Who's your favorite player in the league?
Nikola Jokic.
Who would you say you model your game after?
Jokic.
What are your future goals as an overseas player?
Man, I know this is supposed to be speed, but that's the thing that's crazy is money isn't something that I'm striving for.
Right.
Like, basketball isn't my greatest passion. You know, like, I want to be a preschool teacher one day. Like, that's what I want. And so just whatever puts me in the best position to one day get to, like, my goal outside of basketball, I would say.
Right. That's cool.
Celebrity crush.
Zendaya for sure.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Zendaya's been really popular on the podcast. Pet peeve.
I hate, like, loud, obnoxious people who are, like, just loud and obnoxious, like, for no reason, and, like, don't know, like, when, like, where that line needs to be drawn.
What's the best new podcast out there right now?
Oh man, I know I'm gonna say Hidden Gems because you guys are my boys too, but my cousins actually do a podcast too.
Shout them out. Shout them out.
There's this Special Teams podcast. They're down in Florida though, so
Special Teams podcast. Check it out.
Special Teams podcast.
Yeah, they're on SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram. So
chill. You don't need to promote.
Yeah, don't over promote on Hidden Gems. we're competitive.
Nah.
All right. Well, appreciate you coming on, bro. It was a pleasure. It was great to hear your insight.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you. It was good to, like, talk about everything, man.
Yeah,
appreciate
for sure. Last but not least, we're joined by the Abilene and Hardin-Simmons legend, Jalen Terry. Jalen was an all-conference and all-tournament team player here at Hardin-Simmons and recently spent time in Mexico playing in Sinaloa. Jalen, we're happy to have you on the pod.
J-Lo, what's up, my man? I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll start from the top like we have with our other guests on here. We'll just start with your journey from college and then work our way to your time in Mexico.
Yeah, so I started my college career originally committing to UNC Asheville, but after some things happened, I decommitted and then took the D2 route, started at Fort Lewis College in Colorado. I was there for a few years, redshirted a year, had shoulder surgery, transferred to Humboldt State University in California, had a quick trip there, was there for 1 year, my junior year. And then made my way back to the great state of Texas and played my senior year at Hardin-Simmons University with you.
Yes, you did. Yeah, so why don't you tell everybody about your time at Hardin-Simmons and how you kind of transitioned into this pro career and that came to a realization as you were finishing your college career saying, oh, okay, I can maybe do this.
Yeah, I've always had like a drive and passion to play at the highest level I possibly could. But with everything regarding my injury, schools were not necessarily looking to.
What was your injury?
Shoulder injury, torn labrum, chipped humerus, the whole shebang. I was originally planning actually on going to ACU in Abilene, but I would have had to sit out another year, and I'm already a pretty old man, so I wanted to just, play and then take my opportunity or chance at playing overseas. So decided to come to Hardin-Simmons. Didn't really know anything much about the program. But as soon as I got here, it was definitely a dope environment, great team, and it was a really good experience.
That's definitely an interesting part that we've heard on this podcast and in general when you talk about overseas guys, is everybody's journey is different.
Absolutely.
And the way that they get there is different for everybody, whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA. There's plenty of options and routes to make your dreams come true.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know guys across the basketball world that played 10 minutes, 5 minutes at D1 schools, high majors, mid majors, and picked up a overseas contract pretty quick. I know guys that have, went NAI, D3, and it took them a little longer. The biggest thing that I've came to realize is that agents and teams overseas, especially in Europe, since they can't obviously, it's a job, you know what I'm saying? So
it's a business.
They have to look at the resume first. They're looking to see where you went to play. They want to see what kind of school you went to, and then it's the numbers. So if you're a D1 player, you average 10 minutes a game, 5 points, you still probably have a better chance than over a guy who was killing at a D3, NAI, etc.
Right, and if you're at those lower schools, you got to put up big numbers to even be on the radar.
Exactly. You have to be an All-American, something like that, definitely.
So you put up numbers here at Hardin-Simmons and got the opportunity to go to Mexico. Can you walk us through how that all happened and your experience down there?
Yeah, so I graduated, signed with an agent in May. Was talking to a few teams, but I wasn't necessarily getting the attention that some of my other basketball friends were getting that obviously played at a higher level of NCAA. I signed to this team, Peregrinos de Baraguato, in Sinaloa, Mexico.
I see your Spanish improved a little bit down there.
Google Translate saved my life down there for real. But
we've talked about the language barrier that guys have had to deal with, and even the food and just the loneliness and everything that comes with it. People don't think about when they want to go overseas.
Yeah, I feel like it's been romanticized playing overseas. Like this thing is they're gonna just be at your beckoning call, foot in hand. Oh, what do you need? Do you need this? No, you're an employee. You're not even you're an American, but you're their type of employee. Like this stuff is rough and hard, and I quickly noticed that dudes were dropping like flies. One of my American teammates that was there, for maybe 2 weeks, flew back home because it wasn't for him. So
right,
the turnover rate for overseas players is very high.
Right, they expect you to come and be a man and get your business handled, and if you can't do it, they'll send you right back and get somebody else that will.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I got there, the temperature was crazy. It's super humid in Mexico. Different lifestyle, different foods, very different culture that I was obviously not used to, but I feel like I adapted pretty well. And on the court, I've been doing my thing. So
can you walk us through like a day in the life? We've gone through this with Kurt and Trey so far, and everybody's experience is different, like we've said. So what was your day in the life in Mexico like?
It wasn't pretty. Woke up 8, 9 o'clock, made sure I stayed hydrated because it was just so humid there. You lost body fluids like crazy.
And Trey talked about this. The second day he was there, he immediately went to work and they were doing stuff with him. You had a game like. How soon was it?
I flew in on a Saturday night, got there at 11, had a game Monday morning. So we had the team practice, meeting the other players, things like that on Sunday, and then had 3 games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was right to it.
So back to the day in the life.
Day in the life, wake up 8, 9 o'clock, stretch, drink a ton of water. In my situation, we didn't have our own personal transportation, so me and the other American were pretty much stuck in our apartment for most of the day. So there was a lot of Netflix, a lot of stretching,
Trying to stay sane.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of karaoke, 2K, things like that.
And you have other hobbies. I think that's one thing that we've noticed with people on the podcast and people that have been successful overseas and even professionally in America is like, you got to have other stuff that you can kind of escape the game from with, and things that you kind of have to keep yourself sane? And you have a rap career going as well.
And I'm trying. Yeah, you definitely cannot go play overseas just being a basketball player, because you, regardless of what you think, will get burnt out and go crazy. You need to have some sort
An
of outlet. Exactly. It doesn't matter what it is. It just needs to be something to get your mind off the game, off the situation you're in, whatever. You definitely need something.
How was it for you from a mental health perspective, being able to communicate? And you were lucky enough to have an American roommate and have people there with you, but some guys aren't that lucky. So what was the communication like and the struggle just mentally getting through it all?
Well, I mean, at first we didn't have Wi-Fi, and I didn't realize how much Wi-Fi meant to my life.
Right.
We didn't have it for the first 2 weeks, so it was tough not being able to talk to your family back home or your friends. Like, you don't know anybody in the country you're in. In my situation, transportation was minimal, so I was literally stuck in a room looking at four walls for a big part of the day until we got Wi-Fi.
That's
so
tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a mental check to see if you can handle this kind of stuff.
We've talked about that a lot too with the other guests. It's the little things like, I didn't think about laundry before I got down there. That's difficult too.
Yeah, laundry. There's no dryers there, so there's laundry mats. But
you didn't have the transportation to get to the laundry.
Yeah, I did laundry. I was there. I've been there for about 6 weeks. Did laundry twice, and we've had 9 games in that period. So we were running on fumes when it came to clothes and everything. Yeah.
Let's talk basketball a little bit. How would you say, like, in that time in Mexico and the playing style and just professional basketball as a whole differs from your time in college?
So in the league I was playing in Mexico overall, it's a very almost European style. You are not taking the ball one-on-one like that. It's a lot of movement, a lot of chasing around guys. I felt like I was guarding Steph Curry most of the time. These Mexican guys could shoot the ball, and they were coming off screens a lot. But they really emphasized if you don't have a shot, pass, screen, cut, everything. So there's just a lot of movement. One thing I'm not used to was zone. I thought going into the professional scene it would be a lot of man-to-man,
right.
So, checking your guy, but it was really team-based. Because of the running around, they go to zone a lot, and because of the size difference between the national players and then the foreign players, it makes sense for them to go zone. So I wasn't used to that. And then the other big thing that was super hard to get over was the language barrier. So
even on the court communicating.
On the court, yeah. It took a couple weeks to come up with signals or names just that we could all be on the same page, because sometimes in a huddle I would not know a word that they were saying, So that's hard when you're playing a basketball game.
Yeah, for sure. What advice would you give to, college guys and everybody that's saying, I want to go play overseas? Like, we talk a lot about the journey and the grind and the process. What would you tell those guys when it comes to what to expect and, like, the struggle that it actually is to play overseas basketball and professional basketball?
I just say do your research, be informed.
On the team?
The whole thing, the whole process, finding an agent, finding a team. This is not going to be a cakewalk. Don't feel like, especially in this profession, don't feel like anything is going to be handed to you. Even when you get to that team, you could be cut, you could be chopped the first week, you know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to ask guys that who have played overseas. Reach out to others who have been through this, because those are the best guys to go to.
They know the struggle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So did you experience success during your time in Mexico?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, but once I got on the court, basketball is a game I'm obviously very familiar with. So it was
it's global.
Yeah, it was. I did really good. 17 points, 4.5, 5 rebounds a game, 3 assists. Once I started getting in the groove with my team, it was easy. The hard part was things that I wasn't used to, the weird traveling hours, being with people I don't really know in a language that I don't really know. My team didn't have a trainer, so I had to make sure I had got ice and stretched out on my own. And these may seem like little things, but those are things that as a college basketball player you're so
Right.
so
when
used
when
to.
you're playing overseas, you are your accountability. We talked to Trey about that.
Yeah.
And being at Ball State, he had all the resources he needed,
Exactly.
but then making that transition, it's a whole different level. And a lot of guys, it's not as nice as it was for them in college.
Yeah, that's a big thing that it hit me really quick. The first week I was there, I asked, "Oh, do you guys have a trainer? Do you guys have a place where we can go?
Nope.
A good facility or something?" Nope. Try and take care of most of this stuff on your own. Be ready for the games this weekend. That was pretty much it. So
It's tough. All right, before we let you go, we're going to hit the speed round. Let's do it. Favorite food?
hamburger helper.
Of everything.
Everything.
Hamburger helper.
Yeah, you throw a hamburger helper in front of me, I'm eating it.
Celebrity crush.
Zendaya, what? Oh
you're
my
the
God,
third-
Kerry Washington.
You're the third guest that said Zendaya. Who's your favorite player in the league?
He just retired, Dwayne Wade. So
Who would you say you model your game after?
J.R. Smith, Nick Young.
Oh, no.
No, I like to watch D-Wade too. I've been watching him since I was a young bull.
Favorite city in the world?
Oh, man, I've been to a lot. I'll go with New York City.
Best new podcast on the block?
Heard that there's this new podcast called Hidden Gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that one's pretty good too.
Pretty dope. I've been listening to it, so.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you coming on the pod, Jalen. Your insight was great to hear from, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yeah, appreciate it, J-Lo.
Check him out, Jay Chef on iTunes.
Yeah, make sure to go get my album Tropicana, you feel me? Jay Chef, Jaychef. Help your boy out. And while you're at that, make sure to check out Hidden Gems podcast.
There you go. Hidden Gems. Next episode on the Hidden Gems podcast, we're joined by Booker Woodfox, a former